Hello everyone, David here. We have moved into new digs again, and there's a spot of home improvement to do, in particular the doorbell. Now we have a perfectly fine doorbell at the moment, but the button doesn't work 100% of the time. And I kind of fancy an upgrade anyway. I want a video system where I can see who's at the front door and answer it on my phone, get notifications that way. So even if I'm out of the house, I'll know if someone comes calling. So I think the best fit for me is this Eufy E340 dual video doorbell. And the nice thing about this is that it fulfills all of those requirements, and there's no monthly subscription. So I don't need to sort of pay every month to keep my doorbell working, which is a mad concept just in the face of it. So I kind of like the system. Let's go on this journey together and install this and see how difficult it is to make it work. And by the way, Eufy did not sponsor this video. I've had no contact with them. I have their cleaning robot already, which is pretty good. So let's see how the doorbell compares. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is our front door and this is our doorbell. It's about 20 years old and most of the time it works fine. And it's a very pleasant chime. I really want to keep that. But the problem is sometimes when you just catch the edge of it, it doesn't always make the noise. So this will be a straight replacement for the doorbell anyway. Like, it will just make the chime work with all the digital benefits that come with it. So this is the chime itself. It's actually wired into the mains. You've got the mains coming up here and then going through a transformer and then hitting this physical mechanism. And it's actually got two metal bars like a glockenspiel. And if you stay there, I'll hit the doorbell and you can literally see the mechanism work. It's hitting one side and then the other. And I think it's a really classic kind of British ding-dong kind of doorbell chime, and I really want to keep that. Now, with the Eufy system, you can get an electric chime to go with it, but we didn't buy that, and we don't need it. So we're just going to wire this into the existing chime. Now, you can power this with batteries, but I can't be bothered with any of that maintenance, like changing the battery every 6 months, and eventually the battery will degrade over its lifetime. So we're going to wire it into the mains so it lasts indefinitely. I mean, I'll probably have to replace the battery eventually, but at least for a long time, I won't have to worry about recharging it. It'll just power off the mains. But let's measure how much power we're actually getting first. Right, so with the power on the breaker on, but being very careful not to touch these wires down here, which are live, so 220 volts running through there. I'm going to measure what's coming out of the other side of this transformer in the secondary circuit. So I'm going to put my multimeter on voltage AC. It actually even says on the transformer, if you zoom in, primary 220 to 240 volts, secondary 10.3 volts AC. So let's just measure that. I'll get my two probes here. And there are actually only two wires connected to the doorbell. I can see one is here and the other is there. And we're actually getting 15.2 volts AC, which is interesting. A lot more than it says on the transformer. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but either way, it's in the range of the voltages that the Eufy video doorbell can accept and charge from. It can take anywhere from, I think, 8 to 22 volts AC. So this is going to work. Whether it was 10 or 15, it would have worked either way. Oops. Inside the box, we get the actual video doorbell itself, sticker, quick start guide, a positioning sticker, wall mount, USB A to C cable, some cables to connect to your existing doorbell wiring, and some screw nuts as well to connect the wires together, some rule plugs and screws, some more jumpers for bridging the connections in your chime, but we won't need those today. This is the 15-degree angle mount. So if you want to mount it facing one way or the other, you can actually use this and then have it angled slightly to the left or right from your mounting position. And finally, the security key, and you will use this for poking down on the top to detach it from the wall if you want to replace the battery or do some other maintenance. That's it. Okay, let's get started with the actual installation. First things first, let's make sure the breaker is off. So lights down and doorbell off. Good. And now let's go and have a look at what we'll be working on. So we want to unscrew this doorbell and then drill new holes and then fit the new one on. No, nothing. Like any good DIY dad, I am powered by coffee. All right. Not bad. I mean, the bubble's in the middle. And it's not like houses are perfectly straight either. Okay, here we are in the Eufy app. You can see my RoboVac already in there, ready to go. We're going to add a new device. Go to Security, Video Doorbell, and into My Home. Need to scan the QR code, which is the one at the bottom down there. We will connect with Wi-Fi because I don't have a home base yet. Connect it to the Wi-Fi. Press the sync button for 2 seconds until you hear a beep. Sync, but they spelt it wrong on the app. That's funny. Right, 2 seconds. Heard a beep. It will generate a QR code for the Wi-Fi connection. Please use the doorbell to scan this code on your phone. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Maybe it needs the protective film removed. Nope.
To the Wi-Fi network. Please wait.
Okay, that sounded good.
Setup was successful.
Right, doorbell name, called it Daddy's Bell. Yeah. Yes, and I want it to power. Do you want to use your existing chime? Yes. I have a mechanical chime. Remove the jumper on the chime. I never added the jumper. Maybe I was supposed to do this setup a little bit earlier before I actually installed it all. But it's fine. It's all done. Yep. Done. Switch the master circuit breaker on. Done. Hello. You can leave it open, that's fine. Okay, I'm just seeing if our doorbell works. Okay, the moment of truth. Does it ring the chimes? It does! It does! That's so cool, and there I am! Hey! And it looks like we have a green light on there, so I'm pretty sure that means it's getting power, which is good.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nana.
Nana who?
None of your business.
Bye.
Okay, so I've been using this doorbell for a couple of days now pretty intensely, and I have to say, I'm very happy with it. It actually solves the original problem I set out to fix, which was that the button doesn't always work. Now it does, and the chimes reliably ring when someone comes to the front door and rings the doorbell. And I love all the digital benefits as well, that you can reply from anywhere in the house on your phone, or even if you're out of the house, you can tell someone just to leave a parcel at your front door. The video quality is generally very good. It doesn't have perfect reception to our router access point, so it does get a little bit patchy at times and can drop out very briefly, but I think that's probably because the router is on the opposite end of the house from the doorbell, and I could fix this maybe with an upgrade to Wi-Fi 6 or 6E, or maybe by buying the Eufy home base. But for now, actually, it's fine. It's not really a problem, just something that I think could be improved. I love that you can see the list of past events throughout the day, so you know if someone has come to your front door and delivered a package or something like that just by using the app. And I quite like the security as well, that, you know, when you go to the front door, some lights come on and it's kind of obvious that you're being recorded. It just might help ward off some ne'er-do-wells, you know, canvassing the neighborhood or whatever. So I kind of like that it just improves my security a bit. You know, it's not a full-blown alarm system on its own, but it helps. And probably the greatest thing of all is that there is no monthly subscription at all to this thing. So I kind of feel quite passionately about this. I don't want to have to pay monthly for things that should just last forever on their own. And I kind of think this fits into that category fine. I mean, Eufy may well go out of business and retire their app at some point in the future, but I kind of hope that some enterprising people online will, you know, find a way to make it work with open source software, or at least write something, some custom bit of software that can still handle it. So I'm not too worried about that. And even in the worst case scenario, if Eufy pull their app, it still will actually work as a doorbell and ring the chimes. So that's kind of the most important thing. I haven't actually lost anything by doing this. So those are kind of most of the positive points. What about the negative? Well, I didn't really like that the mount sat quite far away from the surface of the brick. And I think it probably has to do that because it can't guarantee that the surface you mount on is going to be perfectly flat. But it does mean that there was a bit of an air gap around the back. So I actually got some clear silicone gel and just corked all the way around the outside so that it's sealed. It's fairly protected by our porch anyway, so it won't get rained on most of the time. But in extreme weather conditions, I don't really want water running down the back of the mount and interfering with the wiring. So that's all sealed now. It's probably not hermetically sealed, but it'll do a really good job of keeping the elements away from the electrics. I did worry that it was quite easy to steal because essentially you just need that pin, or a paperclip would do it. You push it down into that hole and you release the whole doorbell. So what I've done is I've taken a very small screw. I got this from this hint from a YouTube short. Got a really, really small screw, very narrow, just clipped the end off so it's also very short, and then just inserted that into the poking hole. So at least it looks like it's screwed in now, and that will prevent anyone fiddling with it. It's not actually screwed in tight. You can just lift it out with a magnetic screwdriver, but it's quite difficult to pick out just with your fingers. So that'll kind of help a lot, I think, and alleviates my concerns of it being stolen. Notifications are quite an interesting one. When someone comes to the door, you get a notification that there is a new event. And if you tap on that event, it will take you to the recording. But there's a good chance that person is still at your door and you need to talk to him to tell him to leave your package or that you'll be there in a minute. So they do give you an option to change the target of that notification to taking you to the live feed. But that's probably only really useful if it is happening then and you're not tapping on it an hour later. So I kind of want a third option here, which is if I get a notification from the doorbell and I tap on it, if it's within the last minute or two, then I want to go to the live feed, otherwise show me the recording. So that would be a cool thing to add to the app, and Eufy, if you're listening, please add that. But yeah, it's more of a nice to have than anything. And I did find that the ringer on the doorbell itself is loud, and you can still hear it even from well inside the house. So I just turned the volume on that down so that when someone comes and rings the doorbell, they can hear a kind of a quiet chime outside the front door, and we don't get a cacophony of rings here on the inside. So I think that's quite a nice balance. But yeah, overall, very happy, and I just want to reiterate that this is not a sponsored video. Spent my own money on this, and this is an honest review, my own words. So what's next? I am looking at other Eufy home security products to kind of add to this doorbell. They have a whole range of products from cameras and motion detectors and things. I can see a couple of places in the house where it might be useful to have cameras, and some others where it might be nice to have motion detectors. The only thing that's missing at the moment is a nice keypad. Eufy make one, but it's battery powered, and as I said, I don't want to bother recharging something every 6 months. So I think I'm going to wait for them to bring out some kind of wired, mains powered keypad, and then I might dip my toe into some more Eufy home security. But for now, I'm going to see how this plays out, and yeah, right now I'm pretty happy with it. Well, I hope this video was entertaining on some level. If you feel a little bit more educated than before, then please hit the like button, and you can help me out by subscribing to the channel as well. Okay, see you next time.